President Trump is now threatening to pull U.S. troops out of Germany as NATO nations continue to fall short on helping Iran.
Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader is making new threats against the U.S. and our allies.
Our senior White House correspondent, Jacqui Heinrich, joins us now with the latest. Hey, Jacqui.
Good morning, guys. More than 1/5 of U.S. active duty troops overseas are based in Germany, about 35,000. And now President Trump is threatening a drawdown after German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Iran is, quote, humiliating the United States. President Trump posted this. The United States is studying and reviewing the possible reduction of troops in Germany with a determination to be made over the next short period of time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. His frustration bubbled over after Merz spoke to a group of German students.
Keine Strategie.
The Americans clearly have no strategy. An entire nation is being humiliated by the Iranian state leadership, especially by these so-called Revolutionary Guards.
President Trump posted Tuesday, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, the whole world would be held hostage. I am doing something with Iran right now that other nations or presidents should have done long ago. No wonder Germany is doing so poorly, both economically and otherwise. Now the Chancellor is trying to smooth things over, saying he still has a good relationship with President Trump, and he's expressed his doubts about the war since the beginning. He added that Germany must live up to its leading military role in Europe. President Trump says all this could go away if Iran would just cry uncle and agree to end their nuclear program. But the Supreme Leader vowed to protect Iran's nuclear program as a national asset in a written statement this morning, saying, quote, we and our neighbors across the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman share a common destiny. Foreigners who come from thousands of kilometers away to act with greed and malice there have no place in it except at the bottom of its waters. Today, President Trump will be briefed on possible military plans by CENTCOM commander. According to reports, though, he has already expressed a preference for an extended naval blockade, saying it is more effective at degrading what's left of the Iranian regime and also reducing its revenue generators like its oil. Guys.
Hey, Jacqui, are you jealous of me because I had an exclusive on Sunday night and I got an exclusive that you couldn't get? Because I had you and your fiance on at the same time? Is there a little bit of bitterness because I got the exclusive and you didn't?
I was so honored to do our first appearance together with you, Ryan. So it was friendly media appearance.
Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Unfortunately, we both went through things together, so it was great to get both of your perspectives. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Jacqui.
So let's talk about Iran. I mean, right now, it looks as though the president's getting frustrated. I think they were able to absorb a lot of the economic pain. I mean, here in America, you get gas at $4 a gallon. It's panic politically. In Iran, it's so different. The people are so tortured on a regular basis. Their life is so, sadly, so miserable that when you just tell them their money's worthless, that food is gone, your jobs are gone, they don't care. They have the guns. They got the twisted interpretation of Islam, and they're going to be able to withstand it. Unfortunately, I think the only logical thing is probably the option the president doesn't want to do, and I can understand it, is go back militarily. We have the targets. We've now had a few weeks to arm up the Arab states. Israel has come into the UAE and said, take some of our Iron Dome. We know they're going to target there again, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, and just go take them out.
I think it's true that he doesn't want to do it, but he'll do it if it's necessary. And I think when it comes to, we got to look at this pain a little different when it comes to economic. Any type of pressure on the people, they don't care about. So when we talk about economic pain, that's not going to impact them. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the economic pain straining their military and them being able to buy weapons and fund their terror proxies, that will hurt them.
And that's what Besant did with crypto.
Bingo. So I think that's what they're focused on right now. You know, there are some reports that the Gulf states may get involved on this next round. I would like to see that happen.
And there are different stories about our depletion of our missile stockpiles. They're worried about, some people are worried about, are we using too many? Do we have enough in our arsenal now of the Patriot interceptors, the Tomahawk cruise missiles, the Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff missiles? Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, and General Raising Cane are saying that we are well supplied. The Pentagon is saying that we are well supplied, that our reserves remain robust. And J.D. Vance, our vice president, he was on the Will Cain show, and he was talking about our military readiness. Listen to this.
Of course I'm concerned about, our readiness, because that's my job to be concerned. But I think that Pete Hegseth, our Department of War Secretary, I think General Kane, our Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they're doing an amazing job. But it's, of course, my job to ask these questions. It's, of course, my job to make sure that we're on top of every issue. And, of course, it's the president's job, too. And I think that both of us are very focused on that. But we've got a great military, a military that can do a lot, Will. So don't believe everything you read, especially in papers like The Atlantic.
This whole mission is for the West and for the Middle East. And what the president's astounded by, I imagine, and all of us should be, is that Europe knows they're in the line of fire. They know they got missiles that can hit their capitals. They know they've let their personal military wither. They know that we're the ones who have to watch their backs, supply the people, supply the weapons, build the bases. Not only have they not supported it, they've limited our use of bases in the region. And then for the Chancellor of Germany to say we're being humiliated. If you have a problem with the strategy, you just said you have a great relationship with the president. Call up and say, Mr. President, what's your strategy? Because maybe I can relay it to my people. I'm going to be making a series of speeches. People in Germany are feeling the pinch economically. So I'd like to know what you're doing. That's what allies do. Those statements are now what allies do. That's a guy afraid of his Muslim constituency.
How would we be humiliated? We are trying to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. That was the mission here, to make sure that they hand over their enriched uranium, because they said they had enough to build, was it 9 to 11 nuclear weapons? We can't allow Iran to do that. So we went in and we're trying to stop them. They have a labor crisis now. They've lost 1 million jobs. They have a currency collapse. They have hyperinflation. Food prices have gone through the roof. Chicken is up 75% there. 2 major steel producers are halted now, their production, which means 20 to 30% of Iran's steel export. The strikes have damaged 20,000 factories. That's 20% of Iran's total production units. We have not allowed them to trade, not allowed them to ship oil out of their ports because we are occupying the Strait of Hormuz. How are we humiliated? Right. We look tough.
It's only a matter of time before the president finishes the job up.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.